This is CBC Here and Now.
It looks a little like a plump pork sausage, but this little creature is causing some alarm here in Point Lance this summer. I'm Terry Roberts. We'll have that story coming up.
150 grand seduction. The province is upping the ante to try to attract more doctors.
That incentive that we've increased from 100,000 to 150,000 is the most competitive in Atlantic Canada.
Coming up on Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. We're following a developing story tonight. There's been an explosion at the Come By Chance oil refinery. We know that people have been injured. A CBC reporter is en route to the scene right now. This is a story we'll be following throughout tonight's show. But right now, let's go to Terry Roberts, who's standing by in our newsroom. Terry, what more can you tell us?
Yes, Carolyn, I can report that there's been 6 workers have been injured at the refinery, one of them seriously. Now, a police spokesperson confirmed this about 20 minutes ago, but officers were not at the scene at the time. Now, what's not clear is what happened, but we started receiving reports of trouble at the refinery about 2 hours ago. Sources are telling us there was an explosion, that multiple ambulances have been coming and going. Now, I'm trying to be very cautious about what I'm saying because there is a lot we don't know. This is all unfolding as we speak, and at the beginning of the Labor Day weekend, no less, a time we celebrate workers. Now, I know quite a few people in that area, and I've spoken to many of them, and to be quite honest, I'm hearing different things. I did get a union leader on the phone a few minutes ago, but he very quickly told me he could not talk. He sounded a little bit rattled. Now, workers there are represented by the United Steelworkers. A spokesperson for the company, that's Brea Renewable Fuels. Now, they said they're trying to gather the facts right now and they're going to issue a statement as soon as they can. I've been to the refinery a few times over the years. It's a very dangerous place considering the nature of the business that takes place there. And the site, it has its own emergency response teams, and there have been tragedies there in the past. 2 workers died in 1999. So now all this is happening during a major chapter in the long and controversial history of this refinery. North Atlantic, which is what it was previously known, it stopped refining petrochemicals in March 2020 because of the pandemic. Now last year, a deal to reopen the refinery was announced under a new ownership structure. The company is now called Brea Renewable Fuels. So an expensive and unique conversion is underway at the refinery right now, and the plan is to produce aviation and diesel fuel made from plant-based waste oils and animal fats, that kind of thing. So the company has said it wants to become a leader in efforts to lower carbon emissions in the global transportation sector. So I've been talking with representatives from the unions in recent days, from the union, and they've told me that the site is very busy. It's a very busy place right now with a lot of workers involved. They're struggling to find enough workers to get the job done because there's so much work that needs to be done out there. Now, the last time I spoke with the company, I was told production would commence later this summer, around now, or early fall. I'm not sure where that stands right now, but I know we'll have more details on this developing story as they become available. Carolyn?
Thanks, Terry. Well, as I said, Here and Now we'll continue to follow this story tonight. We're hoping to connect with reporter Garrett Barry shortly, who's en route to Come By Chance. For the latest on this developing story, head to our website, cbc.ca/NL. We'll be following the details closely. Well, in other news, traffic is flowing freely once again through central Newfoundland. All access roads shut down as a result of the forest fires reopened today at noon. The Provincial Forestry Department says the 2 fires along the Bay d'Espoir Highway are now contained. That means the fires are no longer expected to spread beyond their combined area of about 228 square kilometers. The fires shut down the Bay d'Espoir Highway last month, forcing many people to park and wait, and several nearby towns to declare a state of emergency.
Well, it certainly felt like we woke up in Florida today for eastern areas of the island, and the rain felt like it as well. Take a look at some of these numbers. These rainfall totals, in fact, fell between 3 and 4 hours. So that means that rainfall totals, or rainfall rates, I should say, were falling between 10 and 20 millimeters an hour at times overnight. So certainly lots of moisture. 71 millimeters was the top spot in Bay d'Espoir, but lots of areas seeing between 30 and 50 millimeters millimeters of rain. But the other thing really was the humidity today. So this is the past 12 hours in St. John's, peaked at about 35 is what it felt like with that Humidex. In fact, temperatures felt like 28.1 degrees today, which actually broke the record for September as well. But take a look at the dew points this afternoon. 21, 22 is what those dew points were. So no surprise that we saw those Humidex values in the mid-30s. Now, if you don't like this humidity, it's gone, at least through the weekend. We'll say goodbye to that for a little while, but that heavier rain is offshore as well. I'll get into the full forecast, though, when I come back.
Thanks, Ashley. Some beaches on the southern Avalon Peninsula have been full of visitors this summer, but there's one particular creature that's been appearing, one that's rarely seen in these parts, with tentacles as long as a utility pole. We go once again to the CBC's Terry Roberts.
Sun, sand, and a bit of surf. Another beautiful day here in Point Lance. But this summer, some strange things have been happening here on this beautiful beach. Point Lance Beach has become a wildlife wasteland, but this is what everyone is talking about. It's called a Portuguese man-o'-war.
In the ocean, it's a sight to behold. A colorful gas-filled bladder keeps it afloat. And there's this, a vertical membrane that acts as a sail. But it's beneath the surface where the danger lurks. Threads as long as 30 meters, each with thousands of stinging cells, just waiting for the next meal to come along. They've been seen in Newfoundland waters before, but the surf has deposited large numbers of them onto the beaches around here in recent weeks.
I've been traveling this beach now for the last 55 years, and I'd never seen before.
In rare cases, humans can die from a man-o'-war sting, so people are a little alarmed.
None of the community they don't walk the beach now. They're afraid.
This beach is a hidden gem, 2 kilometers of toe-sifting sand. But this summer, unprecedented scenes of death. An outbreak of avian flu was the first sign of trouble.
I've counted probably 50, 60 gannets and probably 50, 60 tars.
There's the natural mortality, like this seal carcass. But a few weeks ago, these things started showing up as well.
I've counted 50 of them man-o'-war.
So what's going on? Why are these warm water creatures bringing their toxic tentacles and a body that resembles an ancient Portuguese warship to remote Point Lance?
I don't know that there's any reason to be particularly alarmed in this instance.
This floating ocean organism is related to the jellyfish, but is poorly understood, so experts can only offer theories. This university professor believes it's a combination of unusually warm waters and the strong currents of the Gulf Stream, pushing the man-o'-war north.
I would say that generally speaking, they are consistent with a lot of the patterns that we're seeing with climate change. And so warming waters, we see warmer species.
Snellgrove believes this is a one-off.
If we see them every year, I would be a little alarmed because that would be quite a change.
People around here don't know what to make of it all. They've just lived through a pandemic. Their church is being sold out from underneath them. Dead birds are washing up on the beach. And now this foreign creature, this so-called man-o'-war. Terry Roberts, CBC News, Point Lance.
Well, Professor Snellgrove doesn't believe there's any need to close Point Lance Beach because of this, but he does recommend visitors wear shoes and keep their distance from the man-o'-war. And if you are stung, he says some vinegar diluted with fresh water should do the trick. Well, to some healthcare news, the province is looking for new ways to provide care to people who don't have a family doctor. Today, the health minister said he expects higher signing bonuses will help recruit more healthcare professionals. Mark Quinn reports.
Health Minister Tom Osborne says in-person care is best, either from a family doctor or an emergency department physician. But with about 125,000 people without a doctor and emergency departments closed in many communities, the province is looking for other ways to provide care.
The optimal coverage is to have a family doctor or to have a physician in the emergency department. But certainly virtual care is better than not having access to a physician or the emergency department. So we're aiming to provide coverage in areas where coverage is lacking.
Next week, the province will issue a request for proposals to provide virtual care, though there's no word on when it will be implemented.
Other jurisdictions have employed virtual care and it's been successful.
Osborne said the province is continuing to work on recruiting more healthcare professionals like family physicians. He said 16 have been recruited since offering a $100,000 signing bonus to new family doctors who set up here. Yesterday, that signing bonus was increased to $150,000.
So we've got a number of people we're dealing with now. We feel that increasing that incentive from $100,000 to $150,000 should help get us over the finish line and sign the individuals that we're currently working with.
Staffing shortages are a problem every summer when people take vacations at facilities like the Health Sciences Centre. Osborne doesn't expect that problem will end soon, but he does expect more people will be available this fall. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, Central Health is responding to criticism tonight from a former radiologist who says she and colleagues warned the health authority about safety concerns years ago. As we reported, Dr. Jane Rendell says she flagged that Grand Falls Windsor wasn't nationally accredited for breast screening back in 2019. Well, late this afternoon, Central Health pushed back. In a statement, it says Dr. Rendell never flagged concerns over inadequate monitors specifically, which is what led to the province-wide review of breast cancer screenings. But Dr. Rendell says if the hospital was properly accredited, it would have undergone more stringent checks. Well, Eastern Health has put its organ donation program on temporary hold. The program has been shut down since March after one staff member quit and another retired. Those employees coordinate with other provinces to procure and send organs and recipients out of province for transplant surgery. The director of that program says the position requires someone to be on call for 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Now, Eastern Health says new staff are being trained and it hopes to have the program back up and running by the end of the year. I'll speak with Dr. Sharon Peters ahead in about 30 minutes on Here and Now. Well, a man in Hopedale has been sentenced to 5 years in prison for manslaughter. Danielle Onelick is 21 years old. He was arrested 2 years ago and charged with second-degree murder. But Crown and defense lawyers reached an agreement on the lesser charge of manslaughter, and Onelick pleaded guilty. The RCMP in Hopedale says a 44-year-old man was violently assaulted in a home and died 2.5 months later. With credit for time already served in custody, Onelick has just under 3 years left in his sentence. He's also prohibited from owning any weapons for 10 years. Well, RCMP in Carmanville are investigating after a report of an attempted child abduction last night. It's said to have happened around 10 o'clock. A teenage girl was walking home when she says she was approached by a man driving a light gray van on Noggin Cove Road. Now, the man allegedly demanded she get into the vehicle multiple times. The teen declined and ran home, where she reported the incident to a parent. Police say numerous patrols were conducted, but no vehicle was found. The man is described as an older individual with a long brown beard and a ball cap. Police are encouraging parents to talk to their children about what to do in a situation such as this. Well, the roller coaster ride continues. Gas prices in this province are down today. Gasoline and diesel dipped by 8.5 cents. That means a low in Labrador of $1.73 in the west and a high of $2.52 along parts of the south coast. On the island, the price of gas is now under $1.70. Furnace and stove oil are down more than 7 cents. Well, how much is an airport worth? It's a question on the minds of people in Stephenville, where the airport is in the final stages of being sold to a private company. Now, we may be able to fill in some of the blanks here. Troy Turner has this story for CBC Investigates.
$6.90. That's the price tag on this airport, according to a draft agreement obtained by CBC News. The leaked draft document is not dated, but appears to be from the spring and may reveal details about the pending purchase of the airport by Ottawa businessman Carl Diamond. It's not clear whether there were any changes before a binding agreement to sell the airport to Diamond was ultimately announced in June. According to the leaked document, in addition to the $6.90, Diamond's company must assume liabilities totaling $190,000 and must pay off existing airport debts. The big one is the airport's line of credit. While the amount owed isn't listed in the leaked agreement, the province has guaranteed it to a limit of $900,000. Government financial statements from last year show a liability for nearly all of that amount. If you put all those numbers together, there appears to be more than $1 million that has to be paid before the deal can close. We reached out to Trevor Murphy, chairperson of the Stephenville Airport Corporation, as well as several board members. No one would do an interview about the draft agreement. We also reached out to Carl Diamond and his numbered company, the Greater NL Partnership. No one would do an interview. The Greater NL Partnership is disputing the figures in the document, saying the numbers are not accurate. But in an email added it would not be releasing information related to the sale because of a non-disclosure agreement. It's been nearly a year since Diamond unveiled his ambitious plans for Stephenville in a crowded airport terminal.
We're going to be paying off all the airport debt, so whatever is left there. We're also going to contribute an early investment of $200 million into the airport infrastructure and to the community.
The plans he announced last year include the return of major airlines, the creation of thousands of jobs, and a manufacturing operation to build massive cargo drones. Drones as big as a Hercules aircraft.
I know there's quite a few people who don't believe what's happening. That's okay. The proof is in the pudding, and that's what we plan on doing.
As for the closing of the purchase of this airport, there have been no public details to date, and neither the Airport Corporation or the Greater NL Partnership is talking. Troy Turner, CBC News, Stephenville.
Well, it's the start of the Labor Day weekend, which is the unofficial end of summer, with kids heading back to school next week and summer toys returning to the garage. Life will soon look a little different. Here and Now's Garrett Barry spoke with some folks who are soaking up this last bit of summer sun.
Counting down. I feel like, I've taken the last couple of days off to try to make the most of it. But yeah, no, they're aware. They're still so young. I don't think they fully get that life is changing.
I'm gonna go back to school.
Back to school. How do you feel about that?
A little bit nervous and a little bit excited. I feel like it's gonna feel different and it's gonna be a little bit distracting.
A little bit distracting? Why distracting?
I have no idea.
Just because. There's gonna be so many new things. Yeah.
On the fourth day, there's not going to be math, and then there's probably just going to be one math every day in grade 1.
Yeah. Do you like math?
But it's probably going to be hard, and because it's so hard, that's probably just going to be one, yes. And I like it a bit, but not way much.
Oh, I had a great summer because the weather's been fantastic. Been fishing and enjoying the great weather, taking the car out when I can. Yeah.
The summer's been excellent, excellent. Couldn't ask for any better. Nice weather, top down.
As simple as that.
Simple as that. It's not over yet. No, this weather's good for this, I'd say September. This car show is was one import planned for the end of September. Okay. So.
People are moving their last weekend after summer for most people. A beautiful time to end the season, and kids are going back to school. We get all our gang together. We got a good crew here, and set up for for the weekend.
You're like the most popular person in St. John's. You're like the ice cream truck lady. Like that's huge.
No, it's great. It's a great position to be in. People are always really happy to come here and really happy when you serve them, so it is great. I think I thought it would be probably a lot different than it actually is. It's a lot more fun than I anticipated. I've met a lot more people than I anticipated, and customers have been really good all season, so yeah.
What did you do all summer?
I went to my cabin.
Oh, tell me about your cabin. Where is it?
In Heart's Delight.
In Heart's Delight. And what do you do when you go to your cabin?
Swim in the ocean.
So much ice cream, so much sunscreen, and I wouldn't change a second of it. It was really awesome. We're really lucky.
For all the times that you hoped and prayed and wished you stayed, my friend. Well, keep your head up.
Corner Brooks' Sherman Downey paid a visit to the St. John's Morning Show studio today. The singer-songwriter has formed a new band, adding longtime friend Phil Churchill from The Once. Downey says he's excited to get back into the band and tour Atlantic Canada. Downey is set to play shows next week in Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island.
Well, it certainly felt like summer, but we are going to see a relief of that humidity over the next couple of days. I'll have the full forecast coming up.
Okay, so before we get to the weather, we do have an update now on the emergency situation at the Come By Chance Refinery. The company has released a statement saying 7 employees have been injured, no details on how serious, and the company is also saying the situation is contained. Again, we're hoping to connect with our reporter Garrett Barry before the end of the show, who's en route to Come By Chance. So, Okay, so now we'll have a look at the weather. We've been talking a lot about hurricanes and the lack of hurricanes so far this hurricane season, but there's something that you and other meteorologists are keeping an eye on, right?
Yes, now we have, yesterday I talked about Tropical Storm Danielle, but it is now a hurricane. So it's the first hurricane, in fact, all season. So let's take a look at what's going on right now. So those winds dramatically strengthening overnight and through the day today. As you can see, top wind speeds about 120 kilometers per hour. Those wind gusts about 150. And that tropical storm, or the hurricane rather, is expected to stick around for a little while and then eventually just track off into the Atlantic Ocean. So there is no threat to anywhere across the Atlantic waters as we head through the next couple of days. So that's certainly good news, but still something to keep an eye on. But boy, did it feel tropical out there today. It felt like we were kind of in Florida this afternoon. 26 degrees is what the mercury is showing there, but in fact, we did reach 28.1 degrees for a very short period this afternoon, but that is a record setter for today. And then number of areas seeing somewhere between 27 and 28 degrees through central, and that cooler air for the west coast, relatively speaking anyway, around 21 to 23 degrees for you. Same thing for the northern peninsula, and then teens the story for a good chunk of the big land, except for the southeast where your temperature is still hanging on around 22 degrees. So we do have those humidex values still, even though it's a bit cooler for the west coast and drier air, those humidex values are still feeling more like 33 in St. John's and 30 right now in Gander. But if we take a look at those dew points, the highest dew points are furthest east. So 20 right now in St. John's and 20 in Bonavista, but as you can see, much cooler dew points the further west you go. And that will be the trend as we head through the overnight tonight. So if you don't like this humidity, you'll be very happy. It will be much more comfortable through the day tomorrow. And we're going to see that low humidity stick around as we head into Sunday as well. So that's certainly good news. Taking a look at what's going on right now, there's that cold front that's pulling all of that moisture along with it. There's still a chance we could see a few showers pop up through central over the next couple of hours. But other than that, nothing really to talk about as we head through the overnight. You can see that through the future tracker as well. Actually clearing skies up across the big land as well. We may see some drizzle and some fog patches for eastern areas of the island, but overall the trend should be a clearing one, and we will see those temperatures dipping tonight. Fairly chilly compared to what we have been seeing over the last little bit, between 8 to 11 degrees as the overnight lows. The warmest temperatures will be for the eastern half of the island, so still hanging on to those teen temperatures, about 16 in St. John's tonight, with those winds relatively light, around 10 to 15 kilometers per hour. Those winds have eased already, and they'll stay that way tonight. Now, as we head through tomorrow, a beautiful afternoon it should be for a good chunk of the province. We will see some clouds on the increase, though, for the west coast, some showers and potentially some thunderstorms developing as well along with this system. It's another cold front that's going to move through. On the other side of this, some pretty chilly air for you for western portions of Labrador, even the north as well. But those showers and potential for thunderstorms will move right through as we even head into Sunday across the big land, and then eventually we'll see some drizzle and fog develop for northeast facing coast, and that's because we're going to get into some onshore flow tomorrow evening. So I do have that rain icon in there, but again, that will be through the overnight. So most of tomorrow will actually be beautiful, but note that wind shift northerly, and that's why we're seeing those cooler temperatures and much comfortable conditions. So 23 degrees through Clarenville, same thing for Bonavista, and really right across the board. It will be a beautiful summer day for you as you head towards central. Similar as far as sunshine goes, and temperatures between 21 and 23 degrees, and then for the west coast you're looking at those light winds, so lots of sunshine on tap for your Saturday. As we head towards the northern peninsula, same thing, temperatures between 19 and 22 degrees as you head towards southeastern portions of Labrador, and you're going to hang on to these warm temperatures one more day in Lab West. 21 degrees, those winds out of the southwest between 30 and 50 kilometers per hour, so a bit breezy tomorrow. And again, you may see some locally heavy rain and some thunder and lightning as we head through the afternoon. But as that cold front sweeps through, you are going to see some cooler temperatures. That will be the trend across the big land, and I will get into the full long range forecast for your long weekend coming up.
problem plaguing much of the healthcare system these days, and now staffing shortages are also forcing the province's organ donation program on hold. It's been that way for the past 6 months. Joining me now to talk more about this is the Clinical Chief of Regional Critical Care at Eastern Health, Dr. Sharon Peters. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting.
Can you start by helping us understand how the organ donation program works and how many people typically benefit from it?
We have the FTE equivalent of 2.5 individuals, and we're here to provide a 24/7 service. Most of the positions are part-time, and they're filled by nurses who have extensive training in critical care and undergo extensive training in the organ donor process. When a patient is identified as being neurologically deceased, usually after a traumatic brain injury, a stroke, then they're referred, if family are willing, to the organ donor program. And that's when they ramp up their services in terms of speaking to family and contacting places across the country who may need of organs for patients who are on their wait lists. And I might add that may be in Newfoundland or it may not.
So how many people usually avail of the program? How many people usually get organs? How does that part work?
The number that are referred, by and large, we have 5 to 6 donors a year. That may not sound a lot, but if all organs that are retrievable are retrieved, then we may be helping up to 6 people.
And this is life or death in many cases, right?
Yes, many of these patients are what they call status 4, which is they're in very urgent need of the donation.
So if someone in the province gets into a car accident now or has a stroke and they are an organ donor, they have organs that could be transplanted to someone in need, there's no way for that to happen right now?
Not at present, but given that the donation numbers vary across the year, so that we may have 4 within 2 months and then we may go 6 months, we're pretty confident that the numbers are very, very low.
How unusual is it for a province to not have a functional organ donation program?
There are many reasons for it occurring, but of recent, staff shortages have plagued most of us. However, most centers are much bigger and they can absorb the loss of 1 or 2 staff. 2 to us decimated the program.
Can you talk a bit more about that? What caused the program to be on hold? What kind of staffing shortage are you looking at here?
We lost our final person. It was a retirement. And we had anticipated that, but we weren't very successful in recruiting someone. If you look at the life of an organ donor coordinator, it usually is 2.5 years. I mentioned that they're usually ICU nurses, and they're used to death and dying and dealing with families. But when you're an organ donor coordinator, it is constant. That's all you deal with, is family in distress and having to deal with that and dealing with the deceased patient. That can put a big toll and leads to a fair amount of burnout. There's also the element of workload, work-life balance. As I mentioned, we are required to provide 24/7 service, which means someone has to be on call. And even though we only have 5 or 6 donors a year, it does take its toll. It's a lot to ask because you're giving up the ability to visit your cabin in the summer, to take a lot of vacation. If one person gets sick, then we have an increased burden on those remaining.
It sounds like such a high pressure job, and you talked about the turnover 2.5 years. So I guess, that's part of the reason why you had that turnover. What is the status of hiring and training more staff to get this program up and running again?
Well, that's the good news. We now have our program coordinator, who's the lead, and we have 3 part-time coordinators hired, which would give us our 2.5, our full complement. Next is the big challenge, again, is the training, because it's quite complex, it's quite intense. We've been lucky thus far, and we have 1 trained, 1 waiting for a date to be trained, and that would leave the 3rd person. So I'm optimistic that we will be starting again before year's end.
Well, Dr. Sharon Peters, thank you so much for telling us about the program and the challenges. Really appreciate your time today.
You're quite welcome, and thank you for asking.
Okay, before we get to the long range, just a note, we're hoping to check in with CBC's Garrett Barry, who's out on the scene in Come By Chance right now. So he's just getting set up. So we're hoping to speak with him in just a few minutes. But let's talk about the weather first. Long range forecast, long weekend. How are things looking?
Yeah, I thought we'd start again just quickly with tomorrow's forecast because it is going to be so beautiful. Let's take a look at what's going on through the afternoon. So temperatures in the mid-20s, or sorry, low 20s or high teens across most of the province. But we are looking at some showers and thunderstorms developing for Lab West, and that is along another cold front. So that does mean that the pattern is going to change. So right now we've got a little bit of a dip in the jet stream, but as we head through tomorrow, we're going to see that rise in the jet stream or some ridging. That's going to allow all of that warmer air, relatively speaking, up across Labrador. Then we're going to watch this trough, and that's going to move over Labrador as we head through the afternoon on Sunday along a cold front. In behind that, that's when that colder air is going to move in. So temperatures are going to really dip as we head through the afternoon, and that pattern will generally continue as we head into Tuesday for areas in the Big Land rather. So here's a look at your temperatures on Sunday. There's that big drop I was talking about. So between 10 and 11 degrees as the daytime highs for western areas and northern areas of Labrador. But before that cold front gets across the Big Land, you'll see your temperatures warming up quite nicely in Cartwright to about 20 degrees and then around 16 for Happy Valley, Goose Bay. But again, you'll see those showers through the day. Now, as far as the island goes, some showers or patchy drizzle, I should say, and some fog patches will likely develop in onshore flow through the overnight on Saturday. That will probably linger into the afternoon as well, but we should see some clearing skies, some sunshine as well, and temperatures really starting to warm up through central and the west coast into the mid-20s. Otherwise, we'll hover between 19 and 23 degrees for the rest of the province. Now, as we head into Sunday evening and into Monday, things will start to get a little bit unsettled for the end of the long weekend. So better chance of showers right across the board for the island and then southeastern portions of Labrador as well. Generally looking at some sunshine in the mix as well, but overall that chance of showers. So temperatures will hover somewhere between 20 and 23 degrees, cooler again up across Labrador, particularly for Cartwright, going down to 14 degrees as your afternoon high. So taking a look at the long range forecast, looks pretty nice, 20 degrees by the time we get to Monday, like I said, but those showers will move in, looking gray a little bit for next week. And those temperatures a bit cooler, so 14 to 17 degrees as your overnight lows. If you take a look through central and western Newfoundland, those temperatures dipping as well into the teens through the afternoon on both Tuesday and Wednesday, and a bit unsettled as well. Wednesday at this point looks fairly decent. And then for eastern Labrador, you're looking at a string of sunshine for Monday through Wednesday. Temperatures warming as we get to that point, and for western Labrador, same thing, but likely a little bit more clouds in the forecast. I wanted to share this shot. Probably a lot of you are picking berries this time of year. This is a pot full of baked apples. Gary shared this shot with us from Indian Cove. Thank you so much for that shot. And if you have any weather photos that you would like to share with us, send them to my Facebook page, Twitter, or email them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
What a great shot. Thanks so much, Ashley. Well, we're following a developing story tonight. There's been an explosion at the Come By Chance oil refinery. We're still getting updates on the number of people injured as well as the scope of the explosion. So let's go now to Garrett Barry, who just landed near Come By Chance. Garrett?
Hi, Carolyn. Yes, we just received some more information from the company that runs this refinery, Brea Renewable Fuels. They said in a statement just a couple of moments ago that it understands that 7 people were injured in this incident, and we have heard from police that one of those injuries should be considered serious, at least one of those injuries. The company says in their statement that it issued to media that the incident is contained. Witnesses say there was an explosion here around 4 p.m. and that multiple ambulances responded, coming and going into the day until at least 5:30. Emergency responders are still working on site here. There are police presence here. There's a firefighting presence here as well. And the company behind this project, this refinery, says that it will cooperate with any investigation into the incident here today. Of course, they are still gathering information themselves, as this is quite recent and still, as you mentioned, Carolyn, a developing story. It does come as the refinery is undergoing a significant amount of work. They are refitting this operation to produce a different type of fuel, a diesel fuel. In a statement, the company behind the refinery, Brea, said it would do everything it could to support the workers and their families, and as I mentioned as well, Carolyn, do everything it can to support any investigation into this circumstance. As I mentioned, of course, it is quite the developing story, quite new, so there's still a lot that we don't know just yet.
So much, Garrett. That's Garrett Barry reporting live near Come By Chance. And we'll be following this story, of course. We'll have the latest on our website, cbc.ca/NL. So we'll continue to follow those details very closely.
Frustration is finally over. The first in Toronto Blue Jay history.
32 years ago today, Toronto Blue Jays pitcher David Steve threw the first ever no-hitter in franchise history. For those not in the know, a no-hitter is where a pitcher or pitchers make it through an entire game without the other team getting a hit. Well, in 1990, it happened to be the team from Cleveland. While this was the first no-hitter in Jays history, it's a record that still stands, meaning it's the only time that it's happened in the team's 45-year history.
My experience in Gander was deeply moving and it changed me forever.
I have never, ever met anybody as nice as the people in Gander.
You ought to be so proud of everybody here. We're so thankful.
Time to find out who's celebrating. Anniversary greetings going out to Wes and Ann Shepard in Corner Brook, who are celebrating their 59th anniversary today. Congratulations to Joseph and Blanche Masters on their 73rd anniversary. They're from Red Harbor, but now live in Grand Bank. Happy 52nd anniversary to Dave and Carol Taylor of Foxtrap. Wishing Leighton and Bernice Patey of Paradise a happy 60th wedding anniversary. Happy 59th anniversary to John and Joan Coates from Brown's Arm. Happy anniversary to Alan and Shirley Poole, who are celebrating 62 years of marriage. Happy 65th anniversary to Clarence and Idella Hart of Botwood. Congratulations to Lloyd and Vera Bennett of Corner Brook, now living in Clarenville, on their 57th wedding anniversary. Happy 60th anniversary to Peter and Lucy Pike of Pinware, Labrador. Geraldine and Clarence Butler of Conception Bay South are celebrating their 69th anniversary. Happy 70th anniversary to Don and Ruby Bragg of Pilley's Island. It's a 56th anniversary for John and Judy Vay in Kelligrews. Anniversary greetings going out to George and Bernice of Bonavista on their 60th anniversary. Happy 60th anniversary also to Gower and Fern Burt of Corner Brook. Frank and Norma Clark of Botwood are celebrating 59 years together. Congratulations. Happy 64th anniversary to Marie and Damian Ryan of Paradise. Anniversary wishes to John and Madeline Hamilton from Grand Falls, Windsor. They're celebrating 58 years of marriage. Lois and Abe Rideout of Buren are celebrating their 54th wedding anniversary. Happy 59th wedding anniversary to Junior and Veronica Thistle of St. John's. Wishing Nelson and Francis Rice of Triton a happy 50th anniversary. Happy 60th anniversary to Gordon and Effie Grandy of Winterland. Happy anniversary to Rosalind and David Young. They're celebrating 50 years together. Happy 60th anniversary to Frank and Thelma Howard from Grand Falls, Windsor. Ron and Blanche Skinner from St. John's are celebrating their 65th anniversary today. Congratulations to Sandra and Bernard 80 of St. John's, who are celebrating 59 years of marriage. Love from your family, including your daughter and our CBC colleague, Jane 80. Happy 60th anniversary to Edgar and Julie Higdon living in New Harbor. Happy 58th anniversary to Gordon and Hulda Penny of St. John's. Wishing Nathan and Linda Mentions of St. John's a happy 50th anniversary. Congratulations to Doug and Sandra Hudson of Blackhead, who are celebrating 55 years of marriage today. Best wishes to Ralph and Evelyn Compton on their 55th wedding anniversary today as well. Dave and Laura Abbott of Musgrave Harbor are celebrating their 53rd anniversary. Happy 56th anniversary to John and Daphne Roberts of Happy Valley Goose Bay. Harold and Ivy Blackmore of St. John celebrated their 65th wedding anniversary this week. Congratulations. Congratulations to Irving and Venica Gillingham, who are celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. Happy 62nd wedding anniversary to Stan and Doris Butler of CBS. They're celebrating on September 3rd. Happy 55th anniversary to Raymond and Maxine Gouju of Corner Brook. Wishing Edward and Rosalind McGraw of Torbay a happy 50th wedding anniversary today. Now to some birthdays. Happy birthday to Cora Hancock of Forteau, who turns 90 today. Wishing Wallace Hounsell a happy 91st birthday. Happy 93rd birthday tomorrow to Nina West of Baylargent, now living in St. Lawrence. Happy 94th birthday to Alex Pelly of Bishops Falls. Birthday greetings going out to Gerard Feltham on his 94th birthday. Happy 98th birthday to Edith Head in Grand Falls, Windsor. Wishing Annie Brennan in Marystown a happy 92nd birthday. Happy 92nd birthday also to Edna Pollitt of New Harbor. Sadie Harris of Grand Bank is celebrating her 92nd birthday as well. Birthday wishes going out to Kirby Butler of Arnold's Cove. He's turning 90. Happy 92nd birthday to Lodrick Gill of Burgoyne's Cove, now living in Clarenville. Happy 91st birthday to Bram Rousel in Bishop's Falls. And here's an impressive birthday. Muriel Anderson of Makovic is turning 105 today. She's in the long-term care home in Goose Bay. She had 6 children, 21 grandchildren, 37 great-grandchildren, and 28 great-great-grandchildren. Hope you have a great day. Happy birthday to Trevor Bennett, who's turning 96. Wishing Wilson Stoyles of Goobies a happy 91st birthday. Happy 91st birthday to Don Fields of Curling, now living in St. John's. And congratulations once again to everyone who's celebrating. Now, before we finish up tonight, recap on the developing situation at the Come By Chance Refinery. There was an explosion on the site this afternoon. The company running the refinery released a statement saying 7 people have been injured. No details on how serious those injuries are, and the company is also saying the situation is contained. Garrett Barry, our reporter, is on the scene gathering more information, and you can get the latest on our website, cbc.ca/NL. We'll continue to follow this story throughout the Labor Day weekend. Now, I should mention, Ashley, on Monday, we'll have a special edition of Here and Now. It'll be an encore presentation of the CBC documentary, Gander's Ripple Effect.
That's right. It's all about how Gander's kindness on September 11th inspired a hit Broadway musical, a musical that will be leaving Broadway next month.
Yes, we hope you can tune in for that on Monday. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope you have a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. We know that the weather is going to be pretty decent.
It certainly is. Yeah, it's the last weekend of the pedestrian mall as well. Yeah. So, you know, lots of sunshine, hopefully, some warmer temperatures as well to have a great weekend.
Yeah, definitely a nice weekend to get out downtown and have a last walkabout on Water Street and for the pedestrian mall. All right, well, that's it for us. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. And once again, have a safe and happy Labor Day weekend.
Good night.